Okay, guys, today we are talking about properties of kites. You can see there's three bullet points that kites have for their properties. The first one being that it has exactly two pairs of consecutive congruent sides. So the consecutive means that they have to be next to each other, and congruent means that they're equal in length. In our diagram here, we have AB is congruent to AD. And we also have BC is congruent to DC. So our second bullet point is one pair of opposite angles are congruent. And where this stems from is because we are looking at triangle ABC and triangle ABC and triangle AD. So I'm just going to draw that upside down. A, D, C. Okay. And we said that this side here is congruent to this side, and this side here is congruent to this side. They clearly share AC, so you know that AC is congruent to AC by the reflexive property. So we know that these two triangles are congruent. So the reason that we know that they're opposite angles, ABC and ADC, we know that those are congruent because congruent parts of congruent triangles are congruent, or CPCTC, like we learned a few units ago. So we know that these two are also congruent. And our last bullet point here is the diagonals are perpendicular. So they form this nice little right angle. So let's take a look at some of the practice problems. Let's look at number one. So it's asking for angle B and angle D. So we know from the bullet points above that we have one pair of opposite angles that are congruent. Well, clearly this angle is not congruent to that angle, so the other two have to be congruent. We also know that in a quadrilateral, we have to add up to be 360, the angles do. So we do 360 minus our 85 minus 43, and we get 232. But that has to be split between both of those, both angle B and angle D. So we get 116 degrees for each angle. Okay. So go ahead and try the practice problems on the front, and I will help with the practice problems on the back. So go ahead, pause the video, give 2 through 8 a try, and then tune back in when you are done with those. Okay, so hopefully you got good answers for 1 through 8. On the back here, I'm going to do number 13. So looking at this diagram, I know that angle D is congruent to angle B because we have one pair of opposite angles congruent in a kite. So we know that this angle here is 109. And we also know that in a quadrilateral, we have to add up to 360. So I should have 360 minus 109 minus another 109 will give me the amount of angle that I will have for the other two. So that gives me 142. So we have the remaining two angles, 5x plus 14 and 3x plus 8. And that all has to be equal to the 142, the amount of angle that's left over. So when we go through and we solve for x, we get x to equal 15. And that's all we had to do. So there you go. Give the next few a try. Complete it through number 16, and in class we will go over the answers. So come in with any questions or comments that you have about kites.